We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. F it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Welcome to the Oddfrog Chop Shop, your one-stop podcast for all things toys, design, video games, comic books, movies, pop culture, and more. I'm Mike Cantrell, your producer, and now please welcome your hosts, Kelly Greenwood and Eddie Adamosillo.
Hey, what's going on? My name's Eddie. Over here to my right, I got my co-host, Kelly Greenwood.
What's up, guys?
What's up, guys? Nice to be back.
Thanks for being with us.
So yeah, welcome back for Oddfrog Chop Chop. Thanks for tuning in to episode 3. That was a cool little intro, a little surprise our producer had for us back there. I like that. I dig it. So this episode we're gonna do it live. This episode we're gonna introduce something kind of new, I guess. You know, we're just going along with the process and exploring it as we go. And there's been comments and questions that we feel that are asked for a reason. So we're going to go ahead and introduce a new segment where Mikey, the producer, asks us questions and then we answer your guys' questions. We appreciate you guys asking, you know, anything you guys need to know, want to know. Feel free to DM us, post a comment on the YouTube channel, on Instagram. We have 2 Instagram accounts. Once again, that's Oddfrog Entertainment and 112 Street Chop Shop. So keep supporting. We're loving it. We're gonna keep doing it. We have good news. We have previews. I'm sure some of you guys caught that sneak peek that Kelly posted earlier. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. We're gonna touch on the vehicle and just all our plans and everything we have going here at Oddfrog Entertainment and 112 Street Chop Shop. So, like I said, we're introducing a new segment. Mikey, go ahead and take over for us.
Thank you. First off, thank you everyone for tuning in. The last couple of episodes we've been getting a lot of great feedback. So we really appreciate you watching, appreciate you tuning in. And we definitely appreciate the questions. Any suggestions, any questions, for any of us, or just about the industry in general, shoot them our way. We'd love to talk to you. After the last one, we had some really good questions and, we took them down. We've got some for the both of you, Kelly and Eddie, and also just some for each of you independently. So I'm going to start with you, Kelly. Someone asks, why Start Oddfrog? And what's the story behind the name?
Oh, gosh. Well, why Start Oddfrog comes back from just my kind of nature to want to work for myself. I've kind of been in business for myself since I was in my early 20s. And, it just kind of made sense for me. I'm 46 years old. I went through toy design when I started when I was 37, I believe. So I got to work in the industry a couple years and learn about that. And then it was just I knew for myself, it was time to kind of work on stuff I wanted to work on instead of the big corporations and stuff can't do all the real magical stuff that I was interested in doing and putting myself through school to be able to do. So essentially I started it so that my friends and I that are into this and into toy design could, further our own ideas. I always liked the Image Comics model where every book was an independent publisher, so to speak, or at least the artists and writers were. So that IP followed them instead of the studio. And that's a large part of how I want Oddfrog to grow as well. So, I'm sure we'll talk about that in later episodes, but yeah, for the most part, it was the freedom. I got kind of disillusioned in the toy industry, just kind of seeing, I wouldn't call them shortcuts, but just kind of having to stick to a price point, regardless of what you had to take out of that toy. Like a lot of magic goes right out the door when you're talking about a couple of cents. So it just made more sense to me. Kind of, I like the Steve Jobs approach where, people told Steve Jobs, oh, no one's going to ever buy a $200 phone, Steve. But he made it magical. He made it unique. And now you're paying $1,200 for a phone. So I don't think those models necessarily hold true. So that's why I started, just for the freedom. And like I said, I'd always kind of been in business for myself since I was younger, different businesses, but yeah, just for the freedom. And then the name.
And what's the story behind the name?
Came from a character I created long time ago in another art school. We took a cartooning class and we had kind of the challenge of doing a character out of an anthropomorphic character out of some kind of animal. So I chose a frog, and now it has lived with me for like forever now. It's everything, frogs. I'm associated with that for probably the rest of my life now. But I created this anthropomorphic frog. He's been through many changes over the years. Someday I want to tell a story about him, do a comic book, something like that. But everybody just seemed to love the frog, and I called him Oddfrog because it was just kind of euphonious sounding, I guess, or like it kind of rolls off the tongue. So I just kind of had the name for the character, and, like I said, followed me everywhere. Everybody that kind of supported me through this whole journey was like, oh, the frog's cool. The frog's cool. So instead of kind of turning it into a story or a character first, I decided to name the business after it, because it's kind of like a good luck charm, in my opinion. So yeah, I hope that answers that.
Perfect. Absolutely. The next one will go to Eddie. What is your earliest toy memory, and when did you start collecting?
Oh, earliest toy memory. Well, they all kind of blend in. I mean, there's no one fond memory. I mean, I just remember playing with my action figures. I would say early 90s. I was born in 85. So, when I was playing with action figures, it was like 90, 91, 92, 93. So a lot was going on in the world during those days. So, but I definitely remember playing with my action figures. I'm real fond of the Ninja Turtles. I was a big fan of the Gargoyles. There was various cartoons that Darkwing Duck was kind of dope. Some real cool action figures of him I think would be kind of dope. But, there was various cartoons that I liked. But those, I mean, I have a Spider-Man figure that's like sticks out in my head. I had this, speaking of Spider-Man, perfect. Yeah, I would carry him everywhere. It had a really cool articulation. It was like kind of like BJD ball jointed doll style, and it had like a rubber band in the torso. And I remember when that rubber band snapped, and I didn't know how to fix it, and I tried to fix it, and I was just, I was sad about it. But I think that's one of my earliest memories was when my Spider-Man broke, man, and just carried the thing. When it broke, it was time to get a new one. But I think that's one of my earliest memories of action figure. Yeah.
Nice. How about you, Cal? What's one of your earliest toy memories, and what's one of your favorite toy lines? Eddie just said Ninja Turtles, and
I feel like I've repeated my favorite toy line my entire life. I know exactly what it is. My first toy memory definitely is Star Wars, like the original Star Wars. Man, I must have been like 3 or 4, but I had Luke Skywalker and Greedo, and those were my first 2 figures. And for some reason, I had a big wheel or something, and I dragged Greedo's hand along the ground, and it like melted off, sheared off top part of the hand, like right when I got him. And I still have him, and the top of the hand.
Him and Luke were hand brothers.
Yeah, exactly. We just made them equal. And then my favorite toy line is G.I. Joe, Real American Hero. I loved G.I. Joe. My grandparents got me everything. My parents got me everything. So between the two, I had like a massive collection of G.I. Joe back in the day. I loved the vehicles, and, I just loved that I could sit there and come up with stories in my head and set everything up and play them out. And, I'm positive that's a large part of where I got my imagination and went into the industry I went into. So G.I. Joe, 100%. But other ones, I remember He-Man when I first saw it, super young, like just jumping off the shelf in the store. I'm like, what was that? The colors and the characters. And then the other one, obviously, is the Ninja Turtles that, you know, I was a little older when those came out, but, you know, how can you not love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for sure? So, yeah, there you go.
Going back to you, Eddie, we're talking about different body styles, you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, your Spider-Man with the rubber band. Obviously, there's been many different body styles throughout the years. Which body styles do you prefer and why?
I would assume they're referring to action figures. What kind of maybe articulation? I'm assuming. Yeah. I like you know the more points of articulation, the better. You know, you have 5 points, 16 point. I think you have like 32, and it just keeps going up from there. But you know what we aspire here at Odd Frog Entertainment is to give you like highly articulated. You know, with soft goods, hard goods. We're working on stuff now. We're starting with kit bashes, and then we're gonna reverse engineer whatever we need to do to make our figures happen. But yeah, I mean, like, let me reach over here. Speaking of He-Man, you know, multiple points. You want your shoulders, and then your bicep swivels and thigh swivels. Thigh cuts. You know, we want it all. Like that's what I like. Yeah. Ideal, you know what I'm saying? Lost the arm there, but multiple points of articulation. If I wanted to compare our stuff to anybody, you know, I would definitely say Mezco is somebody we admire and look up to. Referring back to the last question, speaking of collections, like I didn't start collecting up until like honestly, right when the pandemic started happening. Man, I don't know, I just somehow started looking at Mezco stuff, and my collection went from 2 to 20 to like I think I have like I don't know 60 or 70 Mezcos, and it gets addicting to one point. So if I can make my own Mezcos and make money while doing them, hey, that's what we're gonna do, and that's what we're here doing with cars and figures and comics and music and stories and a whole nine.
Well, that's a good segue into the next question. I'll keep it with you, Eddie. So vehicles, why vehicles, and what makes a good vehicle?
Vehicles. So why not? I mean, it's a niche in the market that hasn't really been touched by any big name player out there. You can find there's a couple of third party ones that recently came out. I couldn't tell you the actual name, but there was a couple of turtle vans, and NECA's doing a turtle van. And there's been other vehicles to come out like Scooby-Doo style that, I mean, at least in referring to 1/12 scale, there's not a lot. So that's where we're aiming. That's what we're trying to do. There's a lot of high end scale figures in that market. And I think that providing vehicles for those high end figures is a market that is yet to be explored, and we want to be, you know, the first ones to release a product. We're really close. We have packaging worked out. We have designs. We're in like redesigns. I mean, you guys know why we're redesigning it all again, but I mean, the detail is going to be there. It's going to be, you know, a high end grade collector's item. So that's what we're trying to do. Why not? Your Mezcos need rides, and all those other third-party figures, they need vehicles. Toy photography is taking off. I mean, if you look at so many people do toy photography, they can create amazing dioramas, but there's nothing with vehicles. Imagine if you can do stuff with vehicles. There's a couple of motorcycles out and stuff like that, but other than customs, that you fully customize a 1/12 scale-ish vehicle, I mean, but imagine having a whole line of vehicles that you can then customize to your color and add decals and change out the bumper, or, you know, add grills. Like that's where we're thinking. Why not?
Well, that was going to lead right into the next question, which you just kind of answered, was why 1/12? Why that scale? But I think
That
you just
scale,
covered
yeah,
most
yeah.
of
That's,
that.
I mean, there's a, that's the size of action figures we all kind of grew up with. People who grew up in the 80s and the 90s, it was kind of 6-inch, 7-inch figures. Now you're getting your 8-inch scale figures like McFarlane. They're a little bigger, but 6-inch, 6.5 inches, that's like your average cool 6-inch figure, and why not? I mean, that's what my collection consists of. I know a lot of people's collection consists of that. I know people who follow who create stuff just in that scale particularly. So yeah, it's just another community of people who collect 1/12 scale, like stamps and whatnot.
Yeah. So all those reasons as well. But the other thing that, when I was at the other toy companies and stuff, it's like what you see happen is certain contracts will get rewarded to certain companies. And so then certain companies are out of doing a certain scale. Like they're not going to get in with Disney at a certain scale. So they'll start to make other scales that are just kind of, they seem random sometimes. But so if you're wanting to create your own characters and kind of create your own world, and you look at what Mezco is doing with just their vast array of like seemingly themeless characters, it's like, that's, totally different than that kind of stuff. Like we have lots of characters in our heads that we've come up with going through school that we think would be interesting. We have stories for all of them, game ideas, like strategic turn-based game ideas for our characters. So for me, the 1/12 scale provides an opportunity to like just create your new intellectual property and your new characters and just kind of have a wide open approach. So that's why I like it.
Okay, well, this last one goes to both of you, and we might need to circle back based on what we're going to show people here shortly, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What do you think about the usual objections to 1/12 scale, the vehicles, such as price, etc.? So what do you think about those usual objections?
Well, for me, what I think it is, you know what, Eddie, maybe I'll have you answer this one first, and then I'll follow after. Because I have very specific things to say about that, and I know yours are different than mine. So, and you do as well. So,
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, no problem.
No, so objections to 1/12 scale. I don't think they are like price, right? I mean, I don't think there are many objections because there are not many options. I mean, people are paying $120 for an action figure that comes with multiple accessories, with multiple heads and whatever. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to produce vehicles that are enough to be in the same collection as that figure, and the price point. Speaking of price points, I mean, I guess we would just throw it out there. We've redesigned the whole model, like I was saying earlier, and the price point that was offered by the previous garage was, I don't know, just the perceived value in that, right? At one point, he had these vehicles going for like $45, and you get the second one for $35. Like, as a businessman, I'm sorry, you're not going to get anywhere with that. Like, but so like I said, the perceived value of our vehicles, they had an idea, and our idea is not the same as their idea. So the models are changing, the details are increasing. I mean, we're thinking about accessories. So of course your price point is going to be more than $100. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be. We're still yet to determine that, but it's definitely going to go up. There's no way it's not. We're going to have like rubber wheels, and I guess to throw it out there right now, we're considering lights. So we're going to have lights. We're going to have operating hoods and trunks and doors and this, details and seats and dashboards, and like it's all going to be there. So
yeah. So I think for me as a business owner, it's also like, I don't feel like these companies are explaining why the cost is the way it is, as clearly as maybe they should to their consumer, or kind of getting in touch with their consumer and saying, look, here's why it costs so much. There's a lot of factors that go into it. So Eddie and I have talked extensively about what the MSRP is going to be for the car with all the redesigns. And so, frankly, we have come out with what we're going to start with, and things change. Certain distributors may want to do other stuff, and we have to remain flexible as a business too. But the main thing is to get the product to the consumer. So the way I see it, when we go to launch our Kickstarter, I don't have to have 10,000 people order it if I can raise the MSRP enough for the first 1,000 to cover tooling costs and the product and getting it to you. So, I'm going to be as transparent as I can right now, but the tooling is extremely expensive. It's over $100,000 for a car like this. And so what typically happens is what we're going to do as a business to try to actually get it to the consumer is not kind of have ridiculous numbers that drive down the cost of the car so people will get suckered into sending you money. We're going to set a realistic price that reflects what the figures that go inside as well. So in other words, if someone is selling $125 figure and we've got this vehicle here that has massive design improvements, and I then set that price at $90, just realistically, I would have to sell 10,000 of those before we even got the money for the Kickstarter through. So for me, it's about getting the product to the consumer. And right now at $175, $180 MSRP, which I don't think is terribly bad considering that, 4 characters are going to sit in it. It's got massive details. Those characters that are going to sit in it are $80 to $100 or more. And it also allows us the freedom to add more details that we've been hearing. We've getting messages about, is it going to have lights? And at first we're like, no, we don't really have a price point that reflects that. And now we're like, well, to get it to where only 1,000 people have to purchase it, we have to set this MSRP. But that means we have a little bit extra to throw into the details on that scale of production. So for me, they're not being clear with their consumer or fair with their consumer if, because it's confusing. If you've got something that's $29.99 in a box, I don't think it's going to look good in these high-end photos that some people are doing. So I'm going to let Eddie also explain the details you guys are seeing. And Mike, just let Eddie talk about these details. Eddie is largely responsible for this. He worked with our engineer in Hong Kong, and together they kind of made this absolutely gorgeous interior, and it's got lots of details. So Eddie, I'll let you explain that stuff.
Just let me know if you want me to go back to the beginning, Ed.
Yeah. No, we're good, man. I mean, the details, I don't know. This is something that I'm a big person of details as an artist. I love just about every form of art, culinary art, all sculpting. I don't know. I'm just a big artist nerd, I guess you could say. So details are always a big thing. And, when we had these because these are designs that have now been changed, but some of the interiors and stuff have remained the same. Logos are different. But see, like you can see these style bucket seats here compared to the previous ones. Go back. These are like little things that we go back and do. Look at the difference in the seats here. Go back one image.
Yeah. I'm trying. Hold on.
Well, yeah, no, we like it. I mean, it takes time, guys. We put in those there. See, we put in the work. See, like little things like that. Like the other seats, they look cool, but I mean, to bring it up, like Kelly mentioned, the price point, what we're doing. Yeah, those look like cheap seats. So, we interchange emails. The dashboard, we were like, we want the dashboard to look like a real dashboard. We don't want decals. We actually want details. We want rings and gauges and rivets and glove boxes and, shifters and handbrakes. Like it's all, we took it all into consideration. Like the manufacturer, he's a great guy. We love him out there. He loves designing vehicles. Part of his portfolio consisted of vehicles. He had done like various Porsches and stuff. I mean, just beautiful line work. This is us going into fitting figures in there. Do we got to make it longer? Do we got to make it fit? It takes time to produce a vehicle that's going to look good. It's going to work. It's going to have functioning doors and So all that engineering, we have it taken care of. We work with a very good engineer, and like I said, it's a lot of work. Emails. It's what time is it here now? 8. It's probably like 9, 10. I think it's like 11 on a Sunday, 11 a.m. on a Sunday where they're at right now. So it's like we stay up late, we answer emails, we work through the night sometimes. We're not getting paid for any of this. This is our dream. When you have dreams, you have to put into work before you see it come to fruition at times, and that's what we're here doing at Oddfrog Entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to make vehicles for your dope ass figures, I guess you could say. I mean, this is what we want to do, what we want to see. I think I don't know. I can see myself as an adult just, taking pictures, having a collection. I know there's many people who would customize stuff and paint it their own way. See, this was an idea. These are called red lines, red line drawings. I'll let Kelly break that down a little bit for you guys. He was a big part of this. So here we go.
Yeah. So this is a thing you face often through the design process where you have a great idea, you think it all fits as you're building it in some 3D modeling thing, and then when it comes to manufacturing and actually fitting something inside that you want to be in there, problems come up. So this is just a reflection of like, we get this back from our engineer saying, hey, we have a problem here. And then it's kind of up to me and Eddie to come up with solutions. So we'll take a red line and we'll just like, oh, hey, can you carve out the back of the seats here? We've got a little room in there, I think. That's why initially you saw the seats in the front were cut out. We were just like, well, oh, and I should mention, this design reflects our older design, at least on the outside. Everything on the interior you will see will be in the new car. But this exterior, we will have a slightly different, well, it's pretty different exterior, but it's still in the same genre. And when we were handed this design, it wasn't in exact 112. And I don't know if, a lot of you may remember seeing it, but the doors didn't quite shut. They were like 3/16 away from actually shutting. It was the rough edges on the windows and stuff. So, it was important to us to get the proper kind of manufacturing so that it's going to reflect in the images that you guys take, which are obviously highly polished and detailed, that the car is of that quality as well. So we went through a couple ideas, and I think ultimately for this car we came out with a double. Well, the bucket seats helped when we went to the thinner bucket seat, and then in the back seat we pushed it back and came up with also a removable option to slide the character even back slightly farther. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to break down about that and what that is. And, it's quite a process. I mean, we didn't do all this for to not get it to you guys, so yeah.
Yeah. Custom packaging, a lot of the third-party vehicles, they come in a cardboard box with styrofoam surrounding the vehicle. We're trying to have packaging, custom packaging. Our logos will be on here. It's there's a lot of inbox collectors too, so that's what our packaging sample looks like. So it'll crease right there in the middle of that big square. That's where the vehicle would be sitting.
Window box, yeah. It's
called window box. This is all stuff we learned it at Otis. Shout out to Otis once again.
Trademark.
This is all trademark. This is has been printed. It has been folded and cut and made to shut. We're working on gathering capital. We have a few investors on board that are helping us put the cars out. Speaking of the body Kelly just mentioned, I think he wants to say something here, so I won't take his word.
Yeah. So this is the vehicle we initially wanted to do, and then got a different set of design parameters. So did that. And there is one. It's really dark in there right now because it's a matte black in the 3D modeling, which I wanted to kind of hold true to, but we'll get some better angles. And honestly, I want to wait for the manufacturer's model anyways. And yeah, that's with the new MSRP, we're hoping to put lights right in there. We have blowers through the hood. When you open the hood, you see the engine. And then when you shut the hood, it lines right up. Yeah, there you go. So this is the design we're going for. And, we want it to be customizable, but we also want it to have some features that are, silver engine and stuff like that. So, everything depends on what the final outcome of the new design is cost wise. But this is the direction we're going, guys. Some of you might have seen some of the pictures on Instagram I put up, but we've got our new little logo on there. And so again, back to the MSRP. It's like once we get this out and that's secure, and obviously we want to sell more than 1,000, but like the 1,000 people that purchase the first 1,000 gets this product made. And I want to make that clear to everybody because I am trying to sell this. We want to grow the 2 Instagram accounts to 1,000 followers. Not that everyone will buy our car, but we feel like if that's a big enough home base for us on our Instagram, we have a real good chance at that 1,000 mark for the Kickstarter, because that gets the tooling made, that gets the product made, and it gets it to the United States. So we can legit take orders after that. And I think it makes it reasonable to achieve. And then after that, hopefully, maybe we can come down on the price a little bit and stuff too, because we don't have that giant tooling cost anymore. And we'd love to get it out to people that, might not be able to afford that price point. Or maybe at that point we can come up with other options to make a slightly, more affordable model and stuff. But I just wanted to talk about that real quick because we really want to get this car to you guys. So if you can share, or if you know other accounts that are interested, like share, subscribe. We tell your 112 friends, because the wider of an audience we get out there that know about the car that may potentially involve themselves in a Kickstarter, the more realistic it is that we get those 1,000 units sold. Comes with a box, collector's box. It's on a little platform in the box. The doors open and close, the trunk opens, lots of inside details, and we're going with lights. So we want to sell it. Please help us grow our channels. That's all I'll say about that. I'll let Eddie get back to it.
All right, Eddie. Here's the next one for you.
Yeah. So Oddfrog Chop Shop. This is a character that I just kind of threw together. It's a big kick bash. It's a kick bash, of course. But we have stories. We're trying to come up with stories and make characters. Skulls are a big seller. This is heavily influenced by Mezco and the Punisher.
Great photography too.
Thanks, man. It's my first time dabbling in it. I like it. I like using a lot of red and blue lights. It gives it that like holographic effect. I haven't even, if you put on those, if you look at my logo, my own personal logo, it looks just like me right now, and it has like those red and blue glasses. I think it would look, if it somehow made it 3D, that would be amazing. But that'd be cool, But yeah, this is Jones. No, this is Bones. Bones, and he's like a character. He's a play off James Bond. He's this badass, just kind of like skull dude, and he's yeah.
Oh, can I say something?
Yeah. Hold on.
I'd say the process we're in right now, design wise, for bringing our own characters to life with the Chop Shop, is designing our own bodies. First of all, we want to be able to have our own articulated aesthetic. We want to be able to manipulate it to make different character sizes. And we're also developing a process where we're trying to get the price of manufacturing down. So right now we're going through models on the computer where we're building our own, we're coming up with our own styles. Cause it's, the heads are difficult to sculpt as well, but that body and working out the articulation is really the difficult part. So once we have that down, we're going to start introducing our own lines, our own characters, different branches of characters, and all sorts of creeps, criminals, monsters, spies, agents. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely have plenty, and a lot of ideas, like Kelly mentioned earlier, ideas that were required during our learning process at Otis. We had to come up with stories and concepts and ideas. This is another Kit Bash I was working on, again, thanks to Mezco. This is a character I call Kairos, like Cairo, Egypt. He's basically an evolutionary descendant of the human race, and he's come back to our time to try to, warn us of impending dangers and devastation that is before, that's going to happen, and he's trying to get out his message, and he's greeted with hostile forces, and he's just trying to do what he has to get his message across. And what was that quote I made up? Kelly says it all the time. So he came back, he tried to come in peace, but you guys changed that. So
But you wouldn't let him.
Yeah, I tried to come in peace, but you wouldn't let me. So
Revenge of the
I tried to
future.
come in peace, but you wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
see.
There we go.
So we're working on voices, stop motion. We're trying to do it all, guys. We're at the top of the umbrella. We're Oddfrog Entertainment, so we're gonna have characters and music, and we want to dabble in stop motion. Imagine just like stop motion using our vehicles and our characters. We're trying to go Western. We're trying to go spies. We're trying to go every which way direction. We'll take ideas and customize stuff, and So this is my first
Do
time.
I have time for one more hit? I guess so.
Yeah. Dusk is at night. Would it be dawn? Dawn is upon us. Dawn is during the day. Dusk is at night. So he's like, see.
I just want to say real quick too, like every one of us here is a storyteller. We have 4 to 5 people on our team right now, and literally everyone's a writer and a storyteller. And that's another thing we want to do at Oddfrog is just literally build story into everything. We want the car to have a story of how it came to be and how it met whatever character. And so, we're all creative writers. We've all taken lots of creative writing classes, and we think story is a large part of building a world.
Definitely, I'd absolutely agree. Story is a big selling point. A lot of people buy stuff because of the story, because the way things play out, and they get attached to the characters. If there wasn't a story to a character, it would just kind of be a pointless character. But that was some of Oddfrog preview there.
Good stuff.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and that's actually probably a good segue for the next podcast. We'll just leave a little cliffhanger. We are going to have my friend and collaborator from Sundown Media Group come on here. He kind of wrote the plot for the new comic Doc Holy Day, so you guys are definitely going to be seeing firsthand some of the storytelling capabilities over here. And but me and George have a great, almost Stan Lee, like Jack Kirby working process together. And we wanted to have him come on tonight, but it got a little complicated with the 2 different things going on. So we're going to base our next podcast on the new Doc Holy Day comic book, touch on some 112 stuff that we're doing with that, as well as how the music all ties in. And really kind of going for a multimedia thing here. So it should be interesting. And so look forward to it. Like I said, like and subscribe, guys. And Eddie,
I got one more thing to say too.
Thanks for being here.
So, hey, I just want to say real quick, we're going to start up a new segment called Show and Tell. And what we'd really like to see is if you've got a toy or design collection that you really want to show, we'd love to see it and we'd love to share it with everyone. So please send us a picture and an email describing what it is, toy collection or collectible collection or art collection, comic books, you name it. We'd definitely love to see it. And we'd love to have you join us for one of the episodes, and we can go ahead and stream that, and you can show off what you got. We'd love to see it. So please get a hold of us, either message us on Instagram, comment on YouTube, or just check us out at oddfrogentertainment.com, and there's an email link there. So
Thanks, Mikey. Yeah, guys.
Yeah.
We're a young company. We're figuring it out as we go, and we want to be as involved with the community and you guys as much as possible. I know that once people take off and become big companies, they say, people change, but we're still going to be the same people. We're going to be here, and that's why we're trying to start off with the right foot and just get to know people, get to know the community. So with that new segment, pitch your ideas, pitch your collections. We can have you guys on here as a guest. You can share your stuff. If
feedback
you want,
and questions are always welcome.
Feedback, questions. Yeah. Post, like I said, on the YouTube, on our Instagram. There will be links to all these podcasts, and we'll be trying to post a lot more frequently. I'll be trying to take over the Chop Shop, the 112th Street Chop Shop Instagram, while Kelly will be controlling the Odd Frog Entertainment one. So reach out to us on either one, and we'll get back to you when we can. And tune in to episode 4, where we will discuss, I don't know yet. So yes,
Sundown.
Ideas. Oh yeah, we did. Sundown. It's been a long day, guys. Long day. Doc Holy Day. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Adios. Be good. Do good. And let's keep it cordial.
Keep designing and keep playing.
Don't forget to play with them toys.
Yep.
Thank you for tuning in to the Odd Frog Chop Shop podcast. This episode is brought to you by MLCvoice.com and OddFrogEntertainment.com. Theme music is Burlesque Heartache by RKVC. Please remember to rate and subscribe. Until next time, keep creating and keep playing.